So this is Philipe Rouge, which we made last time we were here, which is, it's so long ago, the tablecloth has changed colour. So this was the Get Fussy recipe for lip balm.
Yeah.
See? Lip balm fragrance.
Wow.
This is very vintage.
It's very vintage.
Well, the books were in the 50s. I find it quite bubblegummy. It's the benzyl acetate. However. Do you still think it smells of rose?
I'm getting more general flowers.
Yeah. General flowers and corporal bubblegum. But today, we are moving on to woody ambers, a popular current perfume theme.
I was about to make a joke about Midnight in Paris.
Were you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Woody Allen.
the film.
So what is Woody Allen, isn't it?
Yes, it was fantastic.
Yeah, but he's
film.
cancelled now, so.
Yeah, but the film.
Yeah.
I know.
The film's not cancelled.
No, the film was marvellous. Yeah, time travelling through Paris. I enjoyed that very much. Possibly because when I saw it, I don't think I knew Woody Allen directed it. So if you don't know, the art and the artist. Now that's a whole other,
yeah,
isn't it?
This is a video. That is a whole other video that we shan't film.
No, we won't. But actually, I found out recently that somebody, I read it, somebody had written that they didn't want to try any of my perfumes because I showed off and said that I thought one of my perfumes was the sexiest in the world. And so I just wrote, no, that was a joke. That was no, the sexiest on the planet ever, IMHO, that's supposed to be funny. It's an ironic statement on, but you know, they decided that they didn't like me.
I mean,
because I'd named a perfume that with peak British humour.
Do they listen to any music or watch any films? Because that's just full of show-offs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also, just missing the joke entirely.
Yeah, but never mind. You can't like everybody. Maybe you wouldn't like my sense of humour. You know what this is?
Some people have a default. Some people either default to liking some things and people, or they default to disliking things and people. And it's merely a default.
Yeah. I had this conversation, oddly enough, only on Sunday with my nephew up in Glasgow. And talking about people who look for things to complain about and they're not really happy unless they can moan a bit, like find fault, and that's what they do. Or people, and I just said, I aim to have a life in which I have absolutely nothing to complain about.
Yeah.
That would be my pride and joy. And I know there are just some people, I used to work with some, who one woman complained about the boss all the time. Her life was ruined because she had to work for him. And then he left and she got given another boss. And she did the exact same thing.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah.
I know, and I thought it was going to be different, and it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean,
it was just that's what she did.
Yeah, I went to a gig in Paris last week for a band that I really like. I just decided, they played the Kentish Town Forum, but I decided to just go to Paris and see them, why not? Yeah. And so I did, and the gig, it was dreadful. They were dreadful.
Oh.
Turns out he can't sing, the lead singer can't sing. But it was a really, really bad gig, and afterwards, my friend, who I went with, was like, I'm so sad about that, I'm so angry that the gig was so bad. And I was like, yeah, I'm watching a bad gig in Paris. This is amazing. I'm so glad that I've just seen a bad gig in Paris.
Well, also I tend to think, it's just all material for your next novel. That's just like if something's horrible to you, if something goes wrong, it's like somebody had a right go at me recently on Facebook about there was something I said I didn't like, and they wrote back and said, well, says you, have you seen the state of your perfume bottles? I mean, this wasn't even about perfume. So he'd gone and looked me up and found something he thought, and I'm just like, oh yeah, but I don't mind.
Yeah.
And he just got more and more angry that I wasn't getting cross about things. And it's just like, nah.
Yeah.
So anyway, this
Anyway,
is
sorry.
on the subject of woody ambers and just enjoying everything. This is ISO-y super.
Yeah.
At 15% strength in ethanol. And that's probably the best known, if indeed it is woody amber. What's a woody amber? Because there are two kinds of amber. And originally, in perfumery, old-fashioned amber was based upon actual amber resin aroma. The amber that comes from fossilised trees, and that we tend to recreate with vanillin plus labdanum. And then the other kind of amber, that's more the ambergris style amber. So, and modern woody amber fragrances tend to use ambrox. Less so the labdanum and vanillin style. So the modern woody ambers are more generally targeted towards chaps. Chapasses may wear them too. This is one I made, actually, this is the original batch before it had a name. I just took a pen and
It's really cool.
made all the labels like that. Yeah.
It's alpha.
That is Alpha. That is Our Modern Lives Alpha, which possibly needs another name. Because it's just sort of...
Well, it gives an impression, doesn't it? There's a lot of connotations with the word alpha.
Exactly. Like gorillas.
Yeah.
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 I like an alpha male gorilla, not so much an alpha male person. Yeah, so this is a blend of various woody ambers, a couple of musks, and it lasts a very long time. You can stick it underneath other perfumes and it will make them last a very long time. It's alright. It's not very exciting, but it wasn't meant to be. It was meant to be something that you then blended with 100% naturals to help them last longer. It's meant to be a whole load of fixatives. All
so that this idea was you had what was it, 8 natural fragrances and then 7 natural fragrances.
Yeah, and 2
days of the week.
Yeah,
and sins and C's.
Deadly. Yeah.
But then you also had 2 synthetics.
Yeah,
alpha and beta.
Yeah, so they had no allergens in them. Since then, more allergens have been put on the list, so they're now no longer... they're made the same, but they have allergens now.
Oh, right.
I might reformulate them. Vanillin is officially going on the allergen list now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Just to finish that point, the point was for you to layer them.
The point was yes.
To get either an alpha or a beta and layer it with one of the 7.
Yes. So if you wanted to have 100% naturals, then you could. If you wanted to have them with no allergens, then you could. But they were going to be the non-naturals, because it's pretty much impossible to make 100% natural fragrance with no allergens unless you're just going to wear patchouli. Yeah.
I mean, I can think of a lot worse things than just wearing patchouli.
Yeah, if you get a nice one. However, if you're going to blend them. Right. I think I know what I just did. I must pay attention. No, I don't. Yeah. You know, so even though we were staying in a lovely hotel up in Glasgow, you know, we've got quite the same sleepers.
No. When did you get back?
Monday. I have no excuse. I've had 2 nights of readjust.
Yeah, because it is Wednesday afternoon now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Oh, but Monday was a bit of a... Our train was cancelled, and so we had to redo it. I bet it was what I thought it was. It's fine.
Thanks.
I was right, but it's always best to check, and it's only 2 strips of paper, and then go in the recycling. It's all fine. This is another very backgroundy one.
Mm.
And I find it doesn't do all that much by itself.
It's nice then.
Yes, it is. Add it to other things, and it makes them a lot more interesting. So I'm just going to put it with the Isoe Super, see what happens.
Ah.
Yeah, well, one of them is alpha. But this one is Cedramber. Cedryl methyl ether, or methyl cedryl ether. Cedramber is its trade name, and I use a lot of that.
Mm.
And it is another really good fixative, a fixative being something that holds the other more volatile materials in place for longer, so it helps the perfume last. And although it's quite quiet by itself, it turns up the volume on other scents. I would say it is a fragrance enhancer. It makes things smell more spicy, more incensey.
Mm.
And
yeah, I like
so
it.
that's probably one of my go-tos, the next one in the row. And I mean there are others, but I don't think anybody needs all of them. I'll say that. You know, maybe 5 grams or anything, but I don't now want kilos or 5 kilos of everything in my place, because they do similar jobs, a lot of these things, so I don't need more than about 5.
Do you think that these have a lot to do with like which fixatives you're using, which background molecules you're using? Do you think that they are what give a perfumer their sort of signature? Because
their footprint.
Yeah, because like depending on what your taste is, you'll have certain fixatives that you use probably every time. And you'll go, well, now at this point in my perfume making, I add the Cedramber because that's what I do, and I know that it makes it how I like it.
I think you are correct, and it very much affects the dry down of the perfume, what's left when everything else has just evaporated off and run away. And there are some probably that I don't use, so I don't have the general background that most modern fragrances have, probably. But yeah, I think that there's definitely a signature. What the French call a patte, as in paw. It's your paw print, Nick. So my paw print pretty much has a fair amount of Cedramber. Okay, this one is more powerful. And there is a move to use more powerful fragrance materials so that you can use less of them, and it doesn't use up the world's resources quite so quickly.
That's wise. I know what this is.
You do? What is it?
Is it Amber X?
Actually, no.
Amber Extreme.
No. This one is Karma Wood.
Karma Wood.
Karma Wood. It's in Honey Jasmine Karma, which we invented here in this very room, although with a different tablecloth. The tablecloth had to go after the Dacia thing.
Yeah, why?
It just absorbed so much cologne.
Oh, yeah.
Because we just sprayed. I mean, even though we covered it with an extra layer of absorbent stuff, it's still, yeah. And and we were using a lot of hedione in that, and the hedione will melt almost anything.
Really?
Well, it turns out to be really, really useful for getting sticky. You know, if you try and peel a label off, and you do your absolute best, and you like, hedione just takes that off.
Really?
It's the most amazing solvent.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
As well as being a fragrance kind of booster. So Karma Wood.
Karma Wood is very, 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 very alpha blokey.
Yeah, it is.
It's the kind of, yeah.
It is the walk down King Street, Hammersmith.
Yeah.
All the young lads out, you know.
Yeah.
Powering their way down the street. They don't even have to move their feet. It's just their aroma drives them along.
Yeah.
Like the way stereos in the backs of cars, you know, just you don't need the engine on, you just go boing boing down that street. it is one of those. But then when I put it with jasmine and phenyl ethyl phenyl acetate to make honey jasmine karma, it sort of joined hands and took a back seat, and it stopped fighting things, including the air around you, and it actually joined in and made quite a it blended well with those. If you match it with equal strength materials, it forms a more pleasant
attitude.
Vibe's the word of the moment.
Vibe.
It's a vibe. It is a calm up kind of a vibe. Yes. Okay. But since you mentioned, there's another one I do have.
Amber Extreme.
Yeah, this is Amber Extreme, which is one of the big companies' version of the super molecule. Yeah, this is diluted to 1%, and it's still enough. The Karma Wood was at 10,
no.
said Rambo was at 10.
It's got me on my nose.
Oh dear. Need some ethanol to wash it off.
It snorts nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I have used just a tiny smidgen of Amber Extreme in some fragrances, such that you wouldn't notice. I mean, maybe 0.1%. Again, you know, it can save you a lot of money if you decide you want quite a big woody amber aroma. You don't need very much of this to make it happen.
It's very sharp.
It's quite, isn't it? Yeah. It's making like making a whole of my cheeks go kind of, and that's only at 1%.
Yeah.
So yes, that if that's what you want, by all means go ahead and stock it to them. I do have. I'm just going. So the things which also get included in fragrances, which are woody ambers. So they're not high on my list of things to create, woody ambers, but that's a very good reason to do one. So this one is this is the Ambrox Super.
After Amber X,
it feels so light and spacious and fresh compared with Amber X.
I mean, it's almost not there compared.
It's smelling almost weirdly salty, but I could just be imagining that it came from ambergris that's floated about in the ocean.
It is a bit, because I was originally going to say, is this cologne or something?
It has smelled just quite beachy.
Yeah, I like it.
It's a total beach. So, yeah.
I like it. I immediately want to mix it with some vanillin. I don't know.
I'm trying to think if I do that. I'm sure I do. Oh, yes. Warm Sands, Blue Ocean. That occurs. Those two together occur. I just think about the footprint thing, the pat, the style, the signature, because occasionally someone will just say about one of mine, like, "You didn't make that." You're like, "Yeah, but I did though. Yeah, but I did." And it'll be maybe because somebody's asked me specifically, can they have something that smells like that with this of that? So it's not that you can't. I mean, it's a bit like saying to an actor, it's like typecasting an actor.
Yeah. Typecast away, at least you're casting.
Yeah. Get cast first and then worry about it later.
I think, yes, that's very true. I always think about the Red Church. Like, that wouldn't fit as a 4160 Tuesdays fragrance.
The funny thing is, that's precisely the one that most people said You know,
is not like...
So somebody actually, to my face, that was the first time somebody said, yeah, but you didn't make that.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, Red Church is really
I love that fragrance. It's really good. Not, you know...
Well,
that's not me. That's not me saying, "Oh, I like things that don't fit in the 400160 Tuesdays range." I mean, you know,
Yeah, still. I mean, it's a pity that the guys who originally made it for didn't really manage to launch it much.
And this is in it.
Yes, in Red Church.
It's in Red Church. That's what I just said. Yeah.
Yes,
that's what I was talking about. Yeah.
This is in it.
This is in it. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So this.
Oh, I like this.
Right. And this is sandalore. So this is a woody molecule, but it does get used in woody amber fragrances. So while it itself is not really a woody amber, it's half of that.
Oh, I think everyone should get this.
Mm-hmm.
It's really special, isn't it?
Mm.
It sort of defies description. It's
Smells
woody.
a bit like sandalwood.
A bit like sandalwood, but then it's got a creaminess to it.
As does sandalwood. The good sandalwood smells very nicely creamy, like that nice Quintus stuff that we got sent.
That is very nice.
That one, yeah.
I've polished off that bottle of the stuff that you made of that with that.
Mm. I've got the formula, you know, I'm doing well.
I think you should launch it.
Yeah, maybe.
There's lots of things I think you should launch.
Well, can't launch everything, can we?
You wouldn't have enough days in the week.
This is the thing we've been talking about strategically. How many things do we launch and how many things we just keep quiet?
Mm.
Or if you visit, can you have a special bottle? What is it about? I'm on this great British Library course for small businesses, creative businesses, which actually they're taking applications for the next round. So if anybody wants to join, look up British Library. Let me know, and I'll put you in touch. It's fantastic because it's funded by the Arts Council, and it rips you through the business, strategy, finance, IP. We did yesterday with people from the Intellectual Property Office, government people giving you advice, the research department at the British Library themselves. It's great, but it really, really, really makes you think, what do I want to do? How do we put it all together? Oh, and the product design professor from Goldsmith, Professor Mike. What a session. I mean, it's just like 3 hours of solid gold smiths. Such valuable information. But I'm having to think, what? Do we continue to do lots of little batches of little things and disappear them, or do we try and slim it down like Lorna from the Perfume Society says, get it down to 15 perfumes? That's not going to happen, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so everything that we smelt so far, this is different. This is different. Do you know in what way this is different?
It's got a menthol to it. It's eucalyptus.
It's actually cypriol, nagarmota. The difference is
Cypress tree
is natural. It's made out of a grass.
It's really good.
So this is one of the Indian essential oils that I got from M.L. Ramnarayan in Kannauj.
I love that.
So, because you see, I think this has woody amberiness to it, but it's natural. So I would.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes people use this to give sort of oud-like effects at,
I immediately
100th the price.
Yeah, I immediately want to mix it with vanillin again. I'm in the mood of just mixing everything with vanillin today.
You are, aren't you?
That and the sandalore, that and vanillin, and I think we got ourselves a party.
Without any of the woody ambers.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Natural. I just thought, what would we also add to such a creation? Because I have an idea. Let's continue to sniff things. Maybe we'll sniff things and then come back and here's a clue.
I think that's natural.
Yeah. And you would be correct.
Cedarwood Atlas. No. Virginia Cedarwood. No.
Am I giving off some kind of no signal that you...
Well, you're just not saying yes.
That is a lesson that everybody needs to learn, isn't it? Shall I tell you what it is?
Yeah.
This is Buddha wood.
Oh, yeah.
Which we don't smell that often, to be honest.
No,
because
I would never have guessed.
I didn't used to get it out much because I thought I wasn't going to be able to get any more. As I had some, but I was hanging on to it to make Buddha wood box because I thought my supply was gone forever. But I found another one.
It's very good, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's very like shoving your nose into a wooden box.
It really is. And it reminds me quite a bit of... It has a certain Gaiac wood, slightly smouldery, slightly whiskey effect.
Yeah. I just really want to mix it with vanilla.
I want to mix everything with vanilla today. Okay, so it's sort of round about my collection, except maybe just like the one.
God, these are great. I think, you know, the second we got away from the amber, we're into a realm of pure delight for me.
Okay, yeah. So as for the woody ambers, we're just like
I like the woody.
Yeah.
It's funny because I think I would have, you know, when I would say probably, you know, 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
I loved amber fragrances and stuff, but I think I've just grown up.
Yeah. Would you have gone for the whole... I mean, the Lynx woody amber things, that whole area of... I mean, Lynx is... Let's face it, Lynx is marvellous. Also known as Axe.
Yeah.
They don't know how to make a good perfume.
Yeah.
People may laugh, I don't care. It's true.
It is true.
Doesn't have to be expensive to be good.
They're brilliant.
Yeah.
Actually, they're brilliant because of how cheap they are.
Yeah.
It's like they can make things smell really great with.
And their chocolate one, I'm sure it was my idea.
That was a very good one.
You know
Lynx chocolate.
My Lynx. You seen my Lynx?
Oh yeah, have you? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's a chocolate blackcurrant Lynx, which, weirdly, you know what I got out? I got out the chocolate and the blackcurrant. I think somewhere in the back of my head, because that was the first. That was my first ever bespoke fragrance. My Lynx Sarah McCartney. That's its name.
Sorry, I've seen that box before, but I don't think I know about this.
Well,
it was a can of Lynx chocolate that blew up in my face when I was 17 and put me in hospital for a week.
That is bad.
Yeah.
Okay, one moment. Basically, once upon a time, I booked an experience with Okini and Lynx, and it was to have a bespoke fragrance made. And they thought, well, you see this. I think they thought I was a man. They thought everybody was going to turn it was going to be a man. Obviously I am...
Retort standing clamp.
I know, retort standing clamp. Actually, it weighs a ton, and you put this in there, and...
I haven't seen this before. This is amazing.
No. Yeah, it is. And so you put the whole lot in there, and what you do is... And it's got this, which is, I mean, possibly... 2005 it was, way before I started making stuff. Possibly worth a fortune, I don't know. But this is the only bottle of Lynx Sarah McCartney. And it says on it, Lynx Sarah McCartney.
Oh yeah.
Right. So, this, and I will, Arthur, I will let you
smell
it.
How
And
did
so-
I not? I didn't
I don't know.
about
It's
this.
been here all the time. You've been.
Yeah, I mean, I know
all
the box.
9 years you've known us. So so it is. So I wanted blackcurrant chocolate. Thanks.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't actually wear it. I mean, there's 100 mils. I've used up about 3, and that's been just spraying it so that people can
That's
smell
really
it.
good.
Yeah. so that happened. It's real. And oddly enough, though this must have been at the back of my mind, I imagine, at some point, I just kept thinking to myself, it's about time I really tried to make the perfume I always wanted, which was the blackcurrant chocolate perfume. So as well as the woody ambers, I should put it away again, as well as the woody ambers that I got out, I'd also got out the blackcurrant absolute and the cocoa absolute and the bourgeon cassis and the raspberry butanoin.
Well, then we need to do this.
I think we probably do.
And we need to put some sandalore in it.
Yeah, we do.
And some cypriol.
And some cypriol, I think we do. Is that film number 2?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll
I
put
don't
her
think we
away.
can do a making on this one, but what we can do is a cliffhanger.
Okay. Da, da, pa. I'll put it away again.
Great. Wait, what's that?